Patricia, you're actually in the meeting twice. That's having a cost.
I've been arguing that the people we don't on the road.
At 2 o'clock for the Pelican Preserve Advisory Committee, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, let's do our, before I start anything, I'd like to, is Patricia?
Patricia has a lot.
Hello?
That she's online.
There she
She's
is.
there.
Hello,
Okay.
Patricia.
I would like to make a motion to allow both Patricia Zimmerman and John Barry to join us remotely with voting privileges due to extenuating circumstances.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, moved by Peggy, seconded by Doug.
Good.
Doug,
Do I look like,
sorry.
oh.
Tom. I know, we're all flying on fumes here. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You guys are in.
Lee Mantonfeld, present.
I'll let you start running the meetings. So, I know you are. All right,
Tom Shaner, present.
Peggy Hall's here.
Alexander present.
Laura Leroy present.
Online, John Barry and Patricia. Yep, okay. Do we have any public comments
I do
today?
not have anyone signed up for public
Okay,
comment.
is there anyone that would like to make a public comment?
You got to fill out a paper.
Yeah, but we'll let you fill that out after you want to talk, if you want to come up. Oh, you're Eugene?
Shelton.
Okay, would you like to come up and?
If there was a letter that you guys have, if you could please give that to me, because I need that for the record.
I know, that's why I'm.
Thank you.
Just about the front gate.
Up here.
Up here, and then state your name, your address, and then you got 3 minutes to talk to us and tell us your
Yep,
concerns.
you'll have this little thing here, but I do need you to fill out one of those slips when you're done, please.
My name is Eugene Shelton. My wife Patricia is here with me. For some time, living in the community, it's very confusing on who manages what. So we have a friend that lives in one of the communities up the road that asked me who manages our landscaping in the front of our community. I said, I have no idea. I guess it's taken care of. So I got to checking it, and the more I checked, the worse it got. I couldn't figure it out. So I took a bunch of pictures for record, and I fired off a couple of letters to the board of directors for Pelican. I talked to our management group, KPW, whatever their initials are, and they put me in touch with somebody. I got a call from Paul Flores, who's the utilities manager for Gateway Public Works. He sort of blew me off, basically, and that kind of got me in a bind there. To make it short, it looks really bad up front, and it's getting worse.
What are we talking about?
The front entrance, I call it the front door. When we lived up north, we took care of our yard, we cut the grass, we painted our front door, the porch looked nice. As people entered your house, it showed who you were as a community member. Obviously, we don't think very much of our community because our front door looks crappy. And I think what's happened is people just drive by it every day and assume that's normal. That to me is not normal, and that's why I took pictures. I'm a global quality engineer, and I just seen that's not your mission statement, but that's theirs. Spent 35 years traveling the world, building plants, managing quality, and everything I see is quality. And believe me, our front entrance is terrible.
I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just trying to find out whose job it is to maintain that. And I keep getting the runaround. It's not our
The
community.
shared
it's
responsibility, and that's,
Yeah.
I think, part of the issue,
Gateway.
yeah.
So somewhere we don't have that written down on whose responsibility it is, but I copied something off the internet that's 10 years old. When our community went bankrupt, it was said at that time, based on the Alliance Committee in our community, that Gateway assumed that responsibility, but it was based on our community paying Gateway to do that. So my question is, are we paying somebody and they're not doing their job on maintaining our front door? That's kind of all I wanted to bring up to get people's attention, at the very least, on why we can't at least maintain the very small existence of a front entrance that we have.
We really appreciate your coming here and talking to us. I think we've all on this committee acknowledged that there's lack in the front, and we are working towards a longer term solution, which is why I invited you to come so you could hear and see the design thoughts that we're having. But the immediate things that need to happen, we need to figure out what can be done. And I looked through your letter, and we'll have to be having some conversations, because, yeah.
But to his question, correct me if I'm wrong, outside of the front gate is managed by Gateway? No, by everything. Ed's got all of
Ed
the,
knows all the GIS
see,
stuff.
it depends on which side of the street you're standing on.
Basically, from the right turn lane down by where the right turn lane starts, just north of the fire station, to Colonial Boulevard, outside the fence, that is PPAC Landscape Committee that maintains that, up to basically the gatehouse and that. So that's all from basically.
But that's
from the
Gateway.
gatehouse.
Yeah, that's Gateway.
That's Gateway.
Gateway.
South of the turn lane, though, on Tree Line, is Community Association.
So
But-
going
but-
down to
but-
the
but
fire.
the
Let's
front
come in-
entrance-
Let's turn in to be facing the gate. That's what I think Eugene's asking.
That
Come
that
in,
immediate area is landscape, PPAC Landscape Committee.
which is under Gateway.
Right.
That's all.
I've noticed, I've done some driving around because it's just my nature. I'm an engineer. I have an environmental background, building background. And when I understand from talking to Carol at Gateway, before
Carol.
tree line was ever cut through, our entrance was on Colonial. And if you drive up there and look right now, there's two big monuments that say Pelican Preserve. It looks beautiful, and there used to be water at the bottom of it at one time, apparently.
And those parcels are for sale.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we live in a shopping center or if we live in a community, because if you drive up Colonial, you think we own part of the shopping center or something. So,
The
Okay,
shopping
so when they-
centers are part of the development.
so when they cut through tree line, they didn't distinguish our community off of Colonial.
Right.
And they gave us a little moniker on either side as you make a left-hand turn. So it looks like, if you look at all the other communities, they have beautiful monuments and entrances and maintained areas. We look like a subset of something. I'm not sure what it is.
We hear your concerns. We definitely do. And we have some, as I said, longer term plans that we're working towards, but I think there are things that can be done in the meantime as well. And because you spoke up, you might get just tapped to volunteer too.
You probably don't want me involved because
Oh, we want everybody involved. Yeah.
my wife has got a short leash.
So let me just say, I am on the Architectural Control Committee also. And I go around to every house twice a month that applies for applications to do something to the outside of their house. I ask people, everyone that I see, what do you think of the front gate? Do you want to spend money to fix it or update it or make it, refresh it? Absolutely not. It looks fine the way it is. That's what I'm told. That's my feedback from the community that I'm in touch with.
That was the question, do you want to spend money?
Yeah, that's the question.
Whether it's a marriage or a business or whatever, if you can't communicate something effectively, the answer you get may not be what you really need. It's not what you're looking for. And as far as the front gate goes, how many people know we pay an ad valorem fee to Gateway to manage our front gate? Probably not too many people. So are we getting value for the ad valorem fee that we're paying for that management service?
Yeah, so point well taken. So we appreciate your
Okay,
comment,
thank you.
and we'll probably
I had to
be
look and see truthfully, the gate,
actual gate.
yeah, I mean, in terms of oversight.
Oh, yeah, well,
We won't have-
landscape is, but,
Does landscape oversee the gate?
well, let's have more conversation on this
Safety
when
and
we're at
The
that one.
monument thing.
Okay, let's move along now to approval of the minutes. We've got 5 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Is there a motion to approve them en masse, or do we want to have
I'll make a
conversation?
motion to approve items 5 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo.
I second it. Doug, I second.
Second by Doug, not Tom. And do we have any conversation, any edits we want to see? Everything looked good. Okay. All those in
Would've
favor?
brought him up.
Yeah. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. It passes. We'll move on to 6 Alpha, the district financial report. Laura, what do you got for us?
I actually have July's, I think, but I didn't link to. Up for you, just a minute.
So if you have July, that means just 2 months left
Yes,
in
we're
the
very
fiscal
close.
year. So
Yep.
that's something for us to,
October to June.
okay, so this is through June that you've got up right now.
Yeah, there's
July,
July's.
okay. 10 months, correct. Okay.
So you got 2 months left and you got 35% of your budget remaining overall, so that's not
We're in good
bad.
shape there.
How much of that though is inflated a little because of the ponds? Wasn't the budget in there that we're going to get from reserves to, so a certain amount of that extra money is actually.
Yeah, there's
Not there.
a big chunk of this right here
What is
that,
it, 300?
but right now it shows, it would be 300.
300,
Yeah.
so instead of that number, it's 300 less, really.
Correct.
400, because there was supposed to be 100,000
Oh, yeah,
borrowed for
right.
streets, so
Okay.
that won't be neat. I guess the point with this, and looking at it last night after we saw that, we won't have, neither one of the committees will actually have to borrow funds from reserves.
Correct.
And we're still in good shape.
So, and we need to thank the open positions and staff for the, being significantly under budget, I guess. I assume it's open positions, why we didn't
Some of that, yeah.
largely payroll when I looked at it, so.
All right, good. And any questions on the financial report?
The only point, I guess, safety and security, it's over, but the budget was created assuming that 115 last year on the streetlights for the removal.
We need to pull that
didn't get,
forward.
came into this year. So
Yes.
that's why it's over, but they've got large amounts of
Yeah, we're
carry
in
forward.
good shape
We're in
with
good
carry
shape there.
forward.
We normally wait until the end of the year instead of doing it.
You definitely have that to pull forward into this year. It's just that hasn't been done yet.
All right, nothing else on financial report. We're going to move down to the subcommittee updates, starting with 7 Alpha, the ponds. We have Jim Latham here. And
So we have 2 people to approve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're right. I skipped right over that. I was just so excited to get into the other ones.
Latham's trying to
Okay,
approve.
yeah, that's right. We better approve him. We've got 2 people that their terms are up for renewal, Louis Lemare and then Jim Latham, and hardly endorsed both of them.
I would move for appointment of Lou Lemire and Jim Latham to the Ponds Committee for another term.
Second.
Okay, movement by Tom, second by Marty. Did you have a comment?
No, she keeps joining and dropping and joining and dropping.
Oh, she's
and
got
it's
bad
causing-
connection,
It's
I
causing
bet.
feedback.
Yeah, okay. Any other commentary? No, okay. All those in favor? Vote aye. Aye.
Who made the motion?
Tom, Marty second. And unanimous approval. So now we can get into the ponds update. Jim, would you like to come up and go through this, or? Oh, or Doug, do you want to do it?
Well, I got the hard copy. I can't read it either. That's why I got a hard copy. That's what you submitted.
I brought my class.
It's okay.
With the Ponds Committee, 10504 Carina Circle. Okay, the update is, first up is our next Ponds meeting will be on 10/12 at 8:30, the following every other month. The littoral enhancements on ponds 17, 18, 38, 41, 42, 43, 45, and 52 were completed on July 27th. While reviewing the recently installed drainage system behind Ravenna, the condos, we discovered some severe bank erosion in a number of areas. We're probably going to be adding that onto our bank restoration project for the following year, 2028. Let's see, we completed the downspout drainage system with the feed into pond 49 at Casella. There had been a lot of bank erosion. This is the only building in Casella that is at the end of the street on the right side that borders a pond. So it falls within the parameters of the downspout drain initiative. By attaching it to the downspouts, we do prevent a lot of the runoff, which was creating a major erosion issue over there. But that's all been resolved. I'll be monitoring it and work with Copeland if there's any follow-ups, touching on it. With the heavy rain season we have now, before grass all takes root, anything can happen. So, but I'll keep an eye on it, and Scott has already said that if anything comes up, he'll be right out there to fix it. Let's see, discovered 5 houses in Bellagio that were inadvertently skipped under the downspout drain initiative a few years ago. There had been a partial done that was done as part of a bank restoration before the downspout initiative was begun. So there is a drain box and the drains going out into the pond from the LME, but it was never hooked up into the house drain system. So there is still a lot of, and it is a wide backyard, so to speak. So there is a bit of water that is bypassing the drain system. And we feel that this should be done. It'll bring it up to be common with the rest of Bellagio and the standards that we're using in the rest of the community. So we received a quote from Copeland, and we're going to work to have this in our next budget year under our existing budget for the downspout initiative. So this is not something that falls outside of our current budget process. We're in the planning phase of storm drain inspections for 2027. That's quite a process to identify and eliminate what doesn't fall within our roles and responsibility, and what is a town center, golf course, or homeowner association role. I'm working with a Scott over there to get all that nailed down. And the last up, we will be reviewing the wood bridges and boardwalk. We have a number of top rails that have been warping. Harold Digno is taking the lead on this. He oversees the conservation side of our group. Actually, we had discussed it, and we're going to be having Gateway's staff be doing this. They had some quotes, and we found that it was, while they could do it faster, we could do it in-house a lot more efficiently and cost effectively, and there's nothing falling. It's really just a matter of trying to make sure nothing warps to the point that it becomes a safety hazard. Gateway already has been out on a couple times when it has been noted that some rails have encroached on a walkway, which is unsafe. So They do a good job of getting right on top of anything like that. And that's everything we have from the meeting. Is there any questions?
Maybe it's unrelated, but 10530, Karina. Rain there just was, who was,
There's a pool being installed 2 houses up from there. And all the stuff was washing down in the drain. The city was out, then the barrier went up, and they put a membrane under the street drain. They haven't been back since then. And we had the one rain, well, we've had 2 rains, so the road is flooding. They really should be opening that up when they're done, if they're not doing anything tracking sand or soil back into the drain. But like they probably put the concrete, now they have to wait for a period. If we end up having a rain event, I'm just going to go and poke a hole in it.
you're aware of it?
Yes, I
Not
opened
far
up a
from your
ticket on it, and then I found out that they had, I couldn't see it with all the water, but there was a membrane underneath the top metal drain. So, but I'll keep an eye on that. I think all the people right in front are all away, so,
Oh.
so I haven't heard about it too much locally.
Ponds are looking good, though.
Yeah, the
It's-
ponds are
it's
nice and
always
full.
nice
Do a
to
job
see
getting
'em.
filled up.
Yeah, good job with the
I
rain.
know somebody.
Don't push it up a little bit.
I was just going to mention that also reviewed the non-standard and the pond subcommittee roles and responsibilities at the.
Yeah, for, it's
You
a,
wanted to talk, Peggy, about the staff gauge, of how that occurred.
Well, I did have a conversation with Paul after the
Yeah.
meeting. It was interesting, and Laura, I'll just give you a little backstory on that. It came to our attention that even though we thought the purchase order was canceled for the 5 that were not approved for Pelican Preserve, it sounds like they were actually paid for by Pelican Preserve.
Mhm.
And I went back and reviewed the minutes, and it says the PO was canceled.
It was, but they were already ordered. So we couldn't stop, and I guess my understanding, because I questioned it as well, is that those are custom built for each location. So each of those staff gauges was specifically designed and built to go at the place that it was originally intended for.
So at some place the cart got before the horse, and that's what Paul.
Agreed.
and
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's,
so-
yes.
So I'm comfortable that it was a overstep.
There was a lot of back and forth. It was approved, and then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, and yeah, so
Yeah,
somebody,
okay.
it just got a little ambitious in the ordering, so.
So if Gateway wants to pay out of the 01 budget to install them in our communities, I don't think any of us would.
Well, this one they did, so yeah.
There was no expense.
Yeah. No.
You paid for the staff gauge, we
Right.
paid to put it in,
Yep.
so yeah.
any other
Good job.
questions? Okay.
Okay, safety and security.
I figured I asked Mark to come in since roads are safety and security, and you could ask your questions during this part, so.
Okay. Safety and security, let's move on to, yes, Ed, if you wouldn't mind taking point.
Okay, Jay couldn't be here because he has a doctor's appointment, but they actually canceled the August meeting. At last, they're not going to have a meeting in August, but he's going in. The streetlight project is basically done. All the removals have occurred and that, and so that's essentially complete. There might still be a few places where the settling around the poles. That big thing going on is the mill and grind surface resurfacing, and there's really 4 projects. The mill and resurfacing of tree line to the 4-way stop. And that's basically all completed. The striping that's down right now is temporary paint. The next project that's tied into that all being done is the bike lane implementation. And to a little bit of backstory, the bike lane has been a point of discussion and safety and security for over 2 years. It's
At
been
least.
going, it's been at least. development order from the city requires that we establish and have bike trails, I think is the term it uses, between connecting all of the residential areas. For some reason, that was back years ago, the signage was painted over, and there's multiple stories on why that all occurred. But to be in compliance with the development order, we needed to establish the bike lanes. The bikes have, there's been more prominent use of bikes, and with e-bikes, there's a lot more usage. And the repaving of the boulevards is actually bringing a lot of the roadways up to current standards.
And signage.
And the signage is the other one of the other projects, is to bring all the signs up to current signage. Each one of our roundabouts has different signage that was done at different times at the time they were put in. So one of the projects that's tied into this is to update all the signage to be consistent. The other one is all the neighborhood striping. We'll be refreshing all the striping within all of the neighborhoods, all the crosswalks, all the start bars. But the bike lanes, that was all engineered to the current bike standards and approved through Fort Myers traffic engineering. A lot of people are second guessing the engineering design, but they don't understand the current rules and regulations around bike lane implementations, that these being public roads under the CDD, we have to comply with. The other area that people are complaining about is the Prado roundabout. Both Cypress Grove and Prado roundabouts, when they were built, were not, even though they're tied into 4-lane boulevards, they weren't designed as 2-lane roundabouts. They're too narrow for 2 lanes of traffic. A year or so ago, we they re-engineered and restriped the Cypress Grove roundabout to get it down to 1 lane and convert the roundabout to show a physical 1 lane and there have been numerous near misses on the Prado roundabout reported where people were the 2 lanes trying to merge into 1. And so as part of that redesign with city traffic engineering was to convert it to a 1-lane roundabout. And that requires the striping in the middle. And unfortunately, the Prado roundabout has pavers where the Cypress Grove is blacktop. But it's all in compliance and approved by traffic engineering and permitted by the city of Fort Myers at this point. I mean, all of this has been discussed ad nauseum over the years in the Safety and Security Committee. So
Ed, I've had multiple people, this is Doug, I've had multiple people mention they couldn't understand why the bike line there coming Cypress to Pelican Preserve is in the middle of the road, where the turn lane for a car on the left and the turn lane, and you're saying it's just because that's the requirement from the city of Fort Myers.
And all the current striping that has been put down right now and has been temporary striping until the permanent striping is put in place. They basically it's paint. They're in the process, started only this week, to actually put the thermoplasty, which is a longer duration. So that intersection, the striping and painting isn't complete yet.
That is where it's going to be though, right? The bike line in the middle of the road?
That's a left turn lane. That's a left turn bike lane. I don't like it, but I've learned, I've talked to Ed, and today somebody put out a Gateway Communications, which had a picture of that and had the green, and it shows that lane will be green with a left turn arrow.
Right.
The bikes coming down the right lane, it's designed for them. Now here's the flaw. I can't argue with law and engineers, but the flaw is people, because, well, it is.
Yeah.
The bikes coming down that right side are to merge with the traffic, which means get in line. Doesn't mean go around the right side of the traffic, which they're going to do. And I'm very concerned that ultimately one of us old farts is going to be sitting up at the front, looking left and right, and not watching this bike come wrongly along our right side. So I hear it. I think we have to do a much better job of educating the people as to what's happening there.
It may be worthwhile having a session in the theater or something with a traffic engineer to go over the current bike lane markings and pavings, because we have a lot of older people that are probably unfamiliar with the current signage and stuff and how bike lanes are supposed to be implemented today. One thing, prior to this, we did not have a bike lane. We did not have a golf cart lane, which most people think. We had a shoulder with a white stripe designating the shoulder. Every intersection is being modified. That solid white line as you approach an intersection is being, to convert it to a bike lane, it goes to a hatch. And the hatch means the cars and the bikes are merging, and then because the cars are supposed to merge to the curb to turn right. So that is just the traffic standard. So every intersection is being changed, that shoulder striping is being modified to be a hatch to designate get in line to turn right or go forward. It's just that the Cypress Grove Pelican is more complicated, and per their standards, you have that same hatch to merge to go to the right, and there'll be green to the green hatch and the green solid mean different things. I've tried to learn all this, but I couldn't articulate them off the top of my head. But to go left, that line in the center is for bikes to turn left. And so that when they turn left, they will turn left into the bike lane, and the cars will turn left into one of the car lanes. It pretty much makes sense, but not everybody understands the markings and the methodology, and they just need to be educated.
And it don't need, I think, education is going to be critical here, but I'd also add personal opinion. I think the lineage at that intersection is total overkill. 3 screaming word only on both lanes, 3 giant arrows on both lanes. And then you go out to a major intersection on the tree line, you have 1 arrow and no onlys. So I understand.
Those may not be done yet.
Well, they're down.
The paint is there, but there may be additional.
And I think
ones
they started putting the stuff on those arrows. I don't know. I just think that, I don't know how if we can, but it seems to me that a lot of the objections, not understanding the flow is one thing, and I think we can do an education thing on that. But all of the lineage and arrows and screaming onlys just seems to be overkill. And if there's some way we could simply take that down to 1 arrow in each lane and 1 only in each lane, I think it would help somewhat with alleviating people's problems of aesthetics. But it's hard to look at all of this, fully understanding what you said in the laws, and it is public road. But you also have to look at it as a 2,500 home community. It's not a major highway, and all of this line is just seems to be overkill. And going to the other question, I think we need to, I heard you, when we looked at this design, I asked questions about the Prado, and I fully understood the merging into 1 lane. Made perfect sense on what's happening at that intersection. At no time do I feel I was ever shown a circle going around that circle. So the people of Prado, and I'm a person of Prado, object to that circle having lines, and I'd like to figure out how do we do this without putting that circle, putting white lines on their pavers. And I think that is important.
I will second that. This is Marty, because when we discussed bringing that Prado down to 1 lane to enter that circle so the cars would not have to merged within the circle. There was no discussion about any striping on the circle. I've gone to all the meetings for safety and security.
No, that is the engineering firm that's designing things and the city of Fort Myers Traffic Department approval process. It's not what safety and security decided to do. It's like, what does traffic engineering and the city of Fort Myers Traffic Department require to do that? It's not up to us. It's not up to the Safety and Security Committee.
If we want it to go down to one lane for safety reasons, then striping, which we did put striping around the one by Casella,
Right.
Carina.
Right.
So that was there, that,
Yeah, it's just, again, I understand there's been a couple close calls, and mostly it's a car trying to slide around a golf cart. See it all the time. So the merging into one lane is going to be, in my opinion, going to be effective. It's going to really help reduce that problem. But once you get into the circle, it's a circle, and you watch who's coming out from Pastoria and who's coming out from the other side of Prado. I've never seen an issue there. So aesthetically, the people of Prado have, then their board has said something, do not want that line around their pavers. I don't know, and again, Ed, I hear you.
They aren't their pavers.
I know.
Keep that in mind.
Well, maybe they need to buy them.
I mean, I agree with you, but our hands are somewhat tied by the laws and the traffic.
Well, we can tell the painter- Private community and public.
Oops, don't go there.
And so I want some clarification. So when I'm driving down Pelican Preserve Boulevard and I'm making a right-hand turn onto Trias, I merge into the bike lane to make that right-hand turn?
They're outside the gate, there is no back lane. Bike lane stops at the gate.
No, he's saying when he's
Not-
coming
not tree line,
Trias,
he said tree
Trias at the stop sign on the way out the door.
I'm driving down Pelican Preserve Boulevard. I come to at Trias and Pelican, and I merge into the bike lane to make a right-hand turn.
or the bike lane merges into the traffic flow.
Nobody's
That's,
going to understand that at all.
that's why we need education.
Because that's where you get tickets.
The bikes better watch out because my truck is bigger.
Right. You're going to have a
Well-
lot of education to do.
The thing that I keep coming back to is that we are a public road situation that we are trying to make into a private road feeling. And that's just not going to happen so I believe we've already got the workers on site with the plans to do the painting per the engineering study, correct?
And per the permit with the city.
Yes. You have to
It's been
do what's
permitted through
required
the-
and
you
not
have to do
necessarily what
is
you
required by the
want.
permit.
Yes.
We, and a lot of this was established over a year ago, and we held off on it because we were going to be resurfacing that stretch of tree line. And the city was adamant that we could not do anything with the bike lane until we did the whole thing as permitted.
And it
so
has
we
to be in
held-
one fell swoop.
We couldn't do part of it and then wait on the tree line part. We had to do it all per the permit, so.
Well, we've done a poor job of communicating. We're waiting until after the fact, and then we go out and start communicating. The message that came out today was good. It was excellent, and I talked to you long ago, so I understood what was happening there. I just still say it's overkill. But so many people have not seen that email, and at the same time, social media is going crazy on this intersection. The world was, the sky is falling, but now they've seen it, and they object even more because they're going, oh my God, I got green paint and white arrows and screaming, oh. So
Snowbirds haven't come back yet.
we've got to get back and do from a Pelican Preserve standpoint, make them first clearly understand, which everybody has a difficult time doing, that these are not our roads. As same thing, it's not our gatehouse. But by doing that and explaining that this is law, that's, you and I have argued that in the mornings with people who come by. This is law. we've got to do it. I still don't like the law as it relates to the circle, but that's,
I don't think anybody likes it. I think that's a fair thing. All of
Yeah.
us would prefer aesthetics, but we have to comply.
there's nothing wrong with the people of Prado going at it like sandpaper.
I will see nothing, say nothing, and do nothing. Yeah. But what I will do is I have a note here. We're going to take ownership of an education session at the town center, and maybe I'll work, Perry, with you.
And Patricia gets, because she does a great job.
She does an
If
excellent
you just
job.
focus on this one thing.
And to
Yep.
get somebody from the city traffic. that can
I like
explain
that,
the
yeah.
bike rules of the road and.
I think that'd be great.
And
That's
that-
So this is Marty. As long as we're on safety and security, can we have an update on the repairs to the guardhouse?
Yes. I don't have one any more than what's in there.
CC does. CC knows it all.
Well, I have live stuff as of this morning, so,
There's a little bit in the.
yeah,
write-up
that,
here.
none of that really has changed. We've only got one person to come in so far to bid on it. I did get some information back from the insurance company for the company that hit the gatehouse. They offered us a little over $7,000 to do the repairs. The estimate that we got from one company was $34,000 repairs. We think the insurance is a little low and that's a little high. So Mark is working diligently to try and get at least one or two other people to come out and look at it. Like he's asked 9 different companies and we've only had one come to look at it. So we're really trying to get something. There has to be something kind of in between because I know 7,000 isn't going to cut it, but 34 seems excessive. So that's kind of where we're at with that as of this morning.
To the bike lanes and things, when that training does occur, I think you got to also address that they shouldn't be riding bikes on the sidewalk, because they may say, I don't want to deal with that, I'll just go on the sidewalk. I'm just thinking that should be included as well.
Florida law, I believe, says that if you have a bike lane, you must use the bike lane. But if you don't have it, you are allowed on the sidewalks. So it's,
Regarding the guardhouse, the last incident where, they're trying to work through the repairs. I will say up to this point, every damage to the guardhouse due to somebody hitting it has been paid for by the person who caused the problem. So it hasn't really cost the taxpayers really anything, so.
well, time and effort on staff.
Right.
I haven't, I guess my next step is if we can't get someone else filed anything with our insurance yet. And so what they would do is go after the other companies. It wouldn't cost us anything anyway. I mean, they cover all of that. I mean, it's our premiums, but I've been trying to delay getting our insurance involved to go after theirs. And I did tell her that today. I said, hey,
But that's one question that I've gotten to is every time somebody hits it, well, what's that costing us? And it's like, well, no, it's been paid for pretty much by the people.
Marty, but it's an eyesore. It's been damaged. It's ugly. The hole in the facade is still there, and it's been months.
It's been
2 months.
2 months.
Maybe it's close.
Yeah.
Things take
time sometimes. I mean, it just, I know you guys don't like looking at it, but we are working as hard as we can behind the scenes to get this resolved. It's just taking much longer than the other times that it
Bigger
happened.
damage than
And this
anticipated.
is the most damage that's taken since I've been here.
Must have some
So-
structural.
We had
But
2
the
different
different-
people look at it and said it did not have any structural damage unless they
Really?
find something different once they start patching it, but we had 2 different people look at it.
Have we
and both
taken the
said no.
sign out of the bushes?
Actually, Cece Haas again from Safety Committee. The thing I think we should do interimly is put up a sign that says 9 feet 6 inches in the interim, because somebody else may just hit it and then they'll be able to say there was no sign.
Yeah.
And you could cover that.
Oh, is that possible? Could
I do
we,
think, even if you piece,
Is it your new sign?
I have a new sign. On the right-hand side, there is a sign says all trucks must use right lane.
Yes, we went and verified that last week, so.
Yeah.
But is it
Okay, I
possible
just-
to temporarily put up the big sign?
Little CYA, just to have it visible when you drive in.
Are we able to mount the sign with the damage to the guardhouse?
Sure, understood. Well, it'd be blocked off while they're working on it anyway, so I'm assuming.
If that can be done, I think that would address the unsightliness of it.
It'll cover
and-
up part of the hole, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Patricia does have her hand raised.
Oh, hi, Patricia.
You have to unmute yourself. She's talking, but I can't hear because she's
Oh,
muted.
unmute yourself.
I can't
If
unmute
she-
you. Patricia, you're muted. We can't hear you. She's still talking, and then I can't hear
Well, while she's
her. Okay.
trying to unmute herself, the other thing going on at the front gate is there are a lot of electrical boxes and things like that that they are working on to rework to get them at grade level rather than sticking up and that. So that will improve some of the unsightliness of some of those boxes that have been there for years.
And they're taking out some of the old unused cabling?
I think they just,
It depends on hard to tell whether it's being used or not, and one of the things that they're also looking at is where the gate is for the resident gate, possibly moving that forward.
Towards tree line?
yes,
No.
no.
Towards the,
Town center.
away from tree line, further in, so the gate is actually further, more in line with the actual guard opening, so that when people come up, like trucks come up and stop at the gate, they would actually be able to see them easier from the guard door.
Wasn't
So-
last meeting, what was her name? Cindy came and presented the problem with the lighting and stuff like that?
Yep, Paul
At our
met,
meeting.
Paul was out there
Right,
with
but I mean,
you.
she-
Was it you she went,
she
no,
was-
Jay. He was out there with
But, I mean,
Jay.
she brought it up at the last meeting.
Yeah, Paul was out there with Jay and Bentley and New IQ too, right? They're hands-free or whatever after the meeting, so.
Right.
Yeah, yep, they went out there to take a look at it, so we should have an idea hopefully what's going on soon.
Lots of moving parts and safety and security, that's for sure.
So they're looking at things that the possibility of moving that gate that might improve some of the flow and easier to see the trucks as they come in using that residential gate and stuff. So there's.
Well, it didn't help the last time because the pickup truck stopped at the window and the problem was the backhoe on the back of the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
The driver.
Okay, see if she can try. Oh, good, hi.
Hi, just wanted to say that today's bulletin that went out had a lot of information in it. And I'm thinking that a follow-up might be able to address some of the things in a Q&A to give people a different approach to why we're doing this, when we did it, and how people have to get used to it. So that would be another thing we could do right away. So if you guys would let me know what the complaints are, I can work on that.
Patricia, are you on Facebook?
No,
Well, you need to go on Facebook and you'll find all the complaints that exist in Pelican Preserve. Seriously, this one's got about 100+ comments on it.
Is this on the,
It's on the Pelican Preserve for all.
for all?
I
Okay,
don't even look at that other. page.
okay, I was gonna say, because that's.
I don't know if I'm even on there, but
Okay.
can't we boil it down to 5 or 6
Yeah. yeah.
topics?
So
Go ahead.
if you have questions that you would like her to address, you need to send it into Georgia so she can send it out to Patricia, correct? Or can we?
You can send them to me too, that's fine. Yeah, you can't do them direct.
We can't do them direct.
Send them to
That's
us, we'll
the
compile
sunshine.
it.
Yeah. So if you have questions you'd like to see her addressing, send them in either to Laura or to Georgia, and then they will take care of getting them out. So, all right, anything else?
I just say, Patricia, whatever you do, I would use that rendering of the intersection that was in the communications that went out today. People look at that, it's really self-explanatory of what's going to happen, and that still that more work to be done there. But one of the things, as I said earlier, that really needs to be reinforced is this is government law, government requirements that we are
Right.
having to comply with.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on safety and security? We jumped around quite a bit on the agenda, but I think
Jay's
it
glad he
was
had a
all good.
doctor's appointment today.
Jay is very happy he didn't have to deal with that. Okay. Landscaping, we don't have anything from landscaping as they're not meeting right now.
Next meeting's in October.
Next meeting's in October. We have officially had Marty move over to be the liaison for the landscaping group. John, thanks you for your support. And Jeff, reaching out to you, you get to help me with the bike education session. So he'll be excited for that.
The city probably has handbook or
Oh, I'm sure.
pamphlets on all of
I'm
that
sure
stuff that
we'll
we
have
could
to
hand
have a
out that-
conversation on how to pull
along
that
with our
together.
what's the CDD do and handouts and stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
that nobody takes.
We have another conversation later on in the agenda about the Washingtonia palms. And so we can get there. Mark and I have been having discussions. So let's,
Oh, okay, well, that's later.
anything else for landscaping? Rain is helping, absolutely true. Okay, now Patricia, are you still on board?
Yes.
Okay, so we're moving on to communications review. Excellent work on what you've done so far this year, by the way.
So the bulletin, we did the final one that went out today. I've got approval from Jim Latham on a bulletin regarding the littoral plants and how important they are and how people cannot remove them just because they don't like them. So that's been approved and it'll be going out next week. Do we then have the final budget approval?
That'll be end of September, right?
No, the public hearing for the budget is on the 20th of August. Next week.
Okay. So when can she have a communication go out?
After that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Let me know what you want me to work on.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, I wanted to also notice, as you'll see in the report, I captured some information from the PPCA survey on the front gate. And I thought that was just interesting. We should all kind of think about.
And it's an education thing that the community as a whole does not fully understand who owns and operates that front gate. And there are several that you saw in the comments, concerns about the dwelling live. I'm not sure, some of them I don't understand because I use it. I've never really had the problem.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of comments about dwelling live. And I know safety was looking at delivery vendors, particularly like Hub Grub and DoorDash.
Even Amazon, you got.
Yeah, they're trying to write a rule that makes sense. Because if you write it wrong, you got to check every UPS truck that comes in. But and you got it there, Patricia. There's a lot of misinformation and a misunderstanding about the front gate. And again, if we can try to reinforce the reality of who operates it, not poking fingers, just this is where you go when you have the problem.
Absolutely. And the discussion about landscape around the front gate and on up to, Tree Line and Colonial. I mean, that whole thing could probably be bulletin to explain all that.
It will be. Well, when we
Well-
talk in a minute on the potential for new monuments.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of communication.
Right.
Yeah. But nothing directed at you at this point.
Okay.
Okay?
You're off the hook for today.
Yeah, for today. All right, let's move along then. We've got,
And Bill Prezy is online. He
Oh.
is the landscape architect who designed these wonderful plans.
okay?
I'm here, guys.
All right.
You just tell me where you want to start.
Oh, right here probably be real good. Just let everybody know the nature, I guess, refresh everybody with the nature of the scope of this exercise. And from the break from the schematic design to here, as we kind of broke it up into phases 1 and 2, is it made sense to me, and I wanted to float this by you guys, that it made sense to me to use the actual the covered towers that are closer to the clubhouse, to do those in concert with any change you may make at the clubhouse. Because I think if you change those and not, I'm sorry, the gatehouse, if you change those and not the gatehouse, it might look a little awkward. So I think those should be done in concert with that. So that's why we show that as a phase 1 and a phase 2, if that makes sense. So this basically just shows the current conditions of everything out there and the asymmetrical nature of the sign. And I wanted to compliment the gentleman at the beginning of the meeting that kind of did the observations about why you have the main structures out on Colonial Boulevard coming down the tree line. But, you know, when this project was built, that was the entrance because tree line dead ended right here. So you only had the left in and the right out. So at that time, it made sense to have an asymmetrical one-sided sign because there was nobody coming from the south into the community at that time. So when they completed tree line through here, now it looks like it's missing something because it's only a one-sided feature. So time did have an impact on that in the long run. So jumping into the next page gets into just a kind of a revision of the schematic design that was favored. So this was kind of where we went from trying to stick with the traditional nature of the existing features and getting into something that was a little more modern-esque, a little more contemporary. And then if we go to the next page, we start to get into the development of those. Again, this is breaking it up into the phasing aspects. And jump to the next page. And then the elements of the phasing line weight doesn't turn out real well here on the screen, but it looks darker on my side. But this gives you an idea of the layout of these new signages. It made sense to me to try to follow in context as much as we can with the existing infrastructure out there because it will save construction costs down the road. And the scale of what's there seems to work in very well with transforming this from a asymmetric entry to a symmetrical entry. So utilizing that structure, and I think this represents how we can utilize much of the same path and much of the same locational relationships of what's there into what we're proposing. So I think this gives you a good idea of how we tried to manage that. And I think just trying to be a steward of the dollars. We want to spend your money as wisely as possible when we go from existing to proposed. So this gives you that idea. The new sign would be pretty much, as you can see on the south side there, is in a similar location to where your existing sign is. And then the proposed symmetrical sign on the north wouldn't have any impact on the golf course operations adjacent to it. So that was a very important limitation for us, was to make sure that any structural things we did over there would not have any impact on the golf course. And then basically connecting the surface toe wall that comes from the trellis complex as you're going along the walkway. So we just duplicated that, so it gave you that same flavor on both sides.
Real quick, you might be doing it now. I saw that scroller moving. The median sign, is that going to have a reflecting pond in front of it?
That's the idea here, yes. Okay. And I'm about to jump into that, but yeah,
so we don't have to Right, we don't have to worry about anybody coming and damaging our reflecting pond.
No. I can't answer that question for you.
Unless you
But-
name it after Trump.
And this gives a kind of a plan view of that signage. And the first thing I want to point out is if you could maybe just scroll, but yeah, take that out a little bit so we can see the whole page. Take it more to 100% so you can see the whole page.
That,
Yeah, and again, that see how it angles up on both sides. The side on the left is supposed to be straight, and then the side on the right has the angle up. And I apologize, I was out. I had surgery last week, and I didn't get a chance to do final QA/QC on this before it went to be submitted for your agenda. So I truly apologize for not having that last view on this before it came to you guys, but that's something I would have caught before it was sent. That sign wall is supposed to have the straight edge, and then it angles on one side, and you'll see it when we come to the median sign. It reflects that. But this is to give you the idea that we talked about. Is the idea here is to have the water come down the wall behind the lettering, then it would hit the first pool and then cascade into a second pool. And that in the plan view, you can see where those two pools would be, and they're very narrow. They're just areas where you collect water and then you can drop water. And you can also put LED lighting in there that it will give you that lighting shimmer up on the wall, especially at night. When you're coming into the feature, the lighting would be a lot more powerful when it's coming through water. The other aspect I wanted to explain to you guys on this is, and this always gets into a costing when you're building these things, especially water features, is that the water feature could possibly be just from the first pool that cascades down into the second pool where we don't have it coming down the wall. So that way it would save you. There's some built-in flexibility and options in this design that I was trying to take into consideration that would be budget conscious. That if you would have said, well, we don't want to spend the extra $150,000 to build this extra waterfall. So there's a way that you can make this design work without having everything tied to it. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Just try to look at ways you can back out of this and not spend money without losing it. And to me, when you're building water features, you have to really think of them that way. You have to be able to parse them into different components. Because even if you did not have the water coming down the wall, which I think would look uber cool, it would be very different than a lot of the signage in the area. If you just had the water in the reflecting pool below it and then falling down once, you can still have the lighting in the water, and the shimmer from the water would reflect up on the sign wall. So you'd still get that effect by just having the water at the lower point. So there is some built-in flexibility with the waterfall operation in this. So I just wanted to point that out as you go through these. So the idea here again was to take in those ideas, was to kind of use a more indigenous material like a coquina rock versus the kind of Mediterranean stucco here. Stucco and tile are getting a little more into a native, more indigenous feel here. And that's where the stacking of columns comes from to make it look a little more natural. And then tying that back into the existing infrastructure you have. And all you'd have to do there is change the material of that without rebuilding it. So you just take the stucco out and put the coquina face on it so you could use that existing structure and just change the surface of it and tie it into your new wall. So trying to get some mileage out of what you already have in place without tearing it down and starting all over again. So
And Bill, if I'm reading this correctly, we would have flexibility on those wing walls to bring those in if we needed to shorten them up.
You could shorten them up. You could expand them. Again, this is a design development level, so it's really, you could, if you wanted to, you could expand them out a little wider to give that sign a little more meat, a little more kind of on the presence on the road, or you could take them down and make them a little more condensed and then use landscaping as an element to stretch it. And that's another thing I really wanted to add here. You're going to notice when we go through this, I didn't add landscaping into this presentation for one primary reason, is that number one, I think landscaping is what's going to make this shine at the end of the day, is really how this is landscaped is going to really be the most important factor of it. And with that said, I think it's a lot easier for you as a group, and especially as a committee that might be showing this to homeowners associations. It'd be a little easier to focus on the structure of it, knowing that landscape is going to come in and complement it. And I hope that's understood, and you would agree with the rationale. It's the only reason why I didn't put landscaping into this presentation. But if you think it's important and that it's vital to do so, I'd be more than happy to have it. So to answer your my long-winded answer to your question, yes.
Yes.
There's definite flexibility into doing that.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
So if we go to the next one, again, this would be on both sides. This is a little more of a 3D view of it. Again, that the angle on the left would be straight, then it would kind of launch to the right to go up. And then we added the circular element in there to kind of give homage to the Mediterranean nature of what exists, so it doesn't, so we don't basically create a pink elephant out at your entry where it doesn't relate to anything that's currently inside the project. It still has a little bit of a Mediterranean feel to it, and we felt that that circular item really worked in well with the logo, so it kind of emphasizes the pelican portion of your logo. So that's why that is there and put in the way it is. And if you step to the next one, we're starting to get down towards it. And that sign gives you a better idea of how the main sign is intended to be, where it is straight on one side and has a slight angle on the other. I think it works. It reads a little better this way, in my opinion. And then this one is the same concept. You could, as they have the water coming down the face of the wall behind the lettering. So the lettering would be raised down, the water would come down behind the lettering, and it would hit, and then it would fall down into the reflecting pool. And again, that could be transposed where the water just comes from an elevated basin area by the sign and just falls down into the reflecting pool. And actually then a third option could be you didn't have any waterfall and you just had the reflecting pool. So there's a lot of different ways you can break this down into different components if it was decided to do so. And then the other side of it is if you don't like the reflecting pool, you could take the reflecting pool out. But in my opinion, I thought from a visual standpoint, it gives a lot more power to the entrance, because the entrance to Pelican Preserve is very wide. You don't get that kind of luxury where you're driving into communities that have this kind of an open entryway, especially when you come in and you can see the expanse of the water and the lake to the golf course side, and even the lake before you get into the multifamily side on the south side. So to me, it was to give a lot more power, that visual power going into the community by having that reflecting pool. And that's the reason that's there. That kind of sums up the three primary elements. And then we can go, if you go another page, we jump into, that gives you the kind of the 3D idea of it. And then the trellis element in there is also to bring in the trellis elements that you have throughout the community, is to kind of reflect that, bringing that in, some of the architectural language there to carry that back through. So you're not losing a lot of the architectural language that you already have throughout the community. And I think in my mind, I think these are, instead of being built out of wood, these would be built out of aluminum to give you a lot better long-term maintenance. It's a lot easier to maintain aluminum over time than it is wood, especially in Florida. So
Now, in that view right there, that reflecting pool looks about half the size.
It is, and again, I didn't catch this because I wasn't here. That should have been stretched out of the visual scene. And you're right, that isn't correct, because that reflecting pool should be twice that long. It would be much longer than that.
Or not.
Or not, exactly. And it really comes down to what the collective feel is that, that you guys feel from a design perspective. That's the beauty of art, is it's truly in the eye of the beholder, and it's a collective idea. How you guys collectively feel this best represents the community is how it should reflect in the final design.
Okay.
And then this is basically taking the pedestrian, the little colonnade coming in. I think that's a very powerful element there, and that's leaving it structurally intact, and then just basically reskinning it with the components that tie to the materials of the main sign. And then replacing the wood trellis with an aluminum trellis. So it just gives you get 25 years out of it without replacing it. Maybe even longer than that, because the wood on it right now looks pretty good. It's painted. It's been poly patched pretty well, but it's probably getting time. You're gonna have some issues with the current state of the wood on there. That just gives you an idea. And again, it was taking the Pelican logo, the little the medallion that's on that, and just moving that to the outside so you can see it as you go by it, and then using a lighting feature that kind of more gives you a little more of a pedestrian feel, and that warm lighting as you're walking through it. That's to kind of bring that down and give it a little more of a pedestrian feel. And I think the medallions would actually serve better if you drove by them. You could see them as you drove in.
Pelican.
CC's little thing that she wants to face point.
And I think
Bird
that,
pelican.
Got it, okay.
and this is the kind of how we carry the language back to this element, and then going from a tile roof and going maybe to possibly to metal. That's it, you could bring that in without changing things. They even make metal roofs now that look like barrel tile. So there's a lot of different ways to approach that. But again, I think it's best to anything that would be done here that would change the architectural language of this, the expression of it, would be to do it in concert with any changes you did at the gatehouse. Because right now they're very architecturally tied together. I think if you did one and not the other, obviously, I think it would look a little out of place.
This is Marty. Is there a way to widen the pedestrian walkway through those structures? Because I see people trying to drive their golf carts through there. They have a very difficult
It
time.
is tight.
I think that one can be widened a little bit, but the colonnade that has the trellis on it, you can see the sidewalks right to the column structure, so there's no way to widen those. But I don't think anybody in a golf course should be going past those anyway. Because if you're going out there, you're entering the public realm, and you should have a golf
Should
cart.
be on the road.
It has everything it needs to be legally on the road.
No, they come out on the sidewalk. Up to on the multi-use path going up to Walgreens. That's quite frequent that people will either be on their bikes or on a golf cart. And once they leave the gatehouse, they don't want to be on the road. So they get up on the sidewalk and cut through there.
Well, maybe there ought to be some infrastructure built that allows them to get off the road and onto that multi-use path. That's probably what would make sense.
Yeah, that would be important, especially because they're going to extend that multi-use path up to whatever the new Aldi's
On the other side.
on the other side.
Right, and that makes sense. So if you live in the community, you want a safe passage where you can get up there and get to those commercial operations without getting on the road. I wouldn't want to get on the road in a golf cart. I don't think anybody would, especially on tree line.
I have a basic question about you're now turning off of tree line. And we had one monument on the one side we've all talked about, but there's no monument on the other side. What you're talking about is what it's going to look like as you face the gatehouse. This is what we're looking at.
That there, well, why don't we go up to the plan view? Maybe that'll help if you maybe scroll back up a few pages. Let's go to that plan view. Yeah, right there.
This one?
Next page, 2 down. That one right there.
One on each side and one in the middle.
Yeah, future state.
Yes, this is future state. So where the trellis elements, they're right there by the median sign. I don't think that right now looks like it's about a 5-foot sidewalk that goes right through there. So I don't believe a golf cart would get through there. So there might need to be infrastructure built where the golf cart can come off the roadway and get up onto that multi-use path without going on to Tree Line Boulevard. But I don't think they could get through it because that right now, if you go to, you can even jump into the photos there. Well, the way it's existing, the sidewalk is pretty much right to the base of each column.
You can get through, you just got to pull your side mirrors in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tight. Yep, right there. It's tight. It is very tight.
It'll be even tighter with the
Right.
columnar base.
They should, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't be
They
there
should be on
anyway.
the road.
They should be
Yeah.
on the road. They shouldn't be on the sidewalk.
Right.
All right,
All right.
okay.
And that might be 6 feet wide, but that would be pretty tight in a golf cart. There's no doubt about it.
Especially
I
the
think-
newer ones.
Yeah, I think that Patricia's question, what's on the screen now, is the structure that's kind of right on either side of the gatehouse. On the
Correct. There's
side.
2 of them, and they're up in the area. That's where I was talking about earlier, is breaking this into phase 1 and phase 2. This element would fall into the phase 2 part because it's right adjacent to the gatehouse.
The trellis
Yeah.
part is outside there.
The trellis part is really down closer to where the median, the median wall would be, and then the knee wall that takes you into the main wall. Yeah, it's that phase 1, everything there, it makes sense to do that in one shot.
Yeah.
But with that other colonnade feature, it's right down there by the gatehouse itself. So I don't think you'd want to make one change to one or the other unless you did it to the gatehouse as well, because then it would look out of place. Because the gatehouse has a lot of the more of a Mediterranean feel to it.
Right. So again,
That's my
coming off
problem
of
with it.
tree line, either direction, I mean, we have that one monument on one corner and nothing on the other corner, right?
Correct. Currently,
So
correct.
What is, and we're not addressing that. We're only putting something new in the middle,
No.
right?
The entire plan is to put a matching symmetrical sign on both sides of the road. Because currently you only have a one-sided asymmetrical entry. This idea is to create a symmetrical uniform entry.
There's
Okay,
one,
Because
There's
right
one
now,
here.
if you're coming from the south on
Yeah.
tree line to take a right into Pelican Preserve, you don't really even see your sign until you're on it or past it.
right, right. So
So
what you're
having that
talking,
as, having
what
the
you're
sign on the north side, you'll be able to see, when you're coming up tree line, you'll see it, 1,000 yards away. Well, maybe not 1,000 yards, but 300-400 yards.
Did that answer your question, Patricia?
no, because I'm not sure what's that gonna look like? Is it gonna look like the one that currently exists?
No, it's not,
No,
We're
No.
changing both.
right.
Correct.
Okay,
It's gonna look like the one that we were just talking about in there.
Okay.
They'll be the same, they'll be symmetrical. The same, yeah, they'll have the same feel
That's-
to them.
okay, all right. And then the one that's coming in is asymmetrical.
No, what exists is asymmetrical. What's being proposed will be symmetrical.
The one
So-
that has the waterfall on it, the one that has the water feature?
They all do.
All 3 have one.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All of them are gonna have
Right now, all
water
3 have
features.
waterfalls.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
And they can be a waterfall from the sign, they can be a waterfall just from the basin, or they can be no waterfall at all.
and the one that has the flagpoles behind it, correct?
That's in the median.
And that's asymmetrical. It
No,
has one
that
side
stands
is
alone.
up.
No, that stands alone because it's in the median.
Can you look at the picture there? I'm just curious.
She wants the one where the timbers are at the top.
She's talking about the design. where you-
Yeah.
That one.
Where the one
That's,
that's there right there. That's what she's talking about.
that's
That
asymmetrical.
in the design.
So that's in the
It's the only
middle.
way you can do it.
Right,
That's in the middle. However, the style, the form, and everything about it relates to it. So they all 3 fit together
Right.
when you.
right.
So when you come in, your eye will focus on this because that's now what you're seeing straight ahead as you come in.
Right.
So this one has a little more detail to it. And this one probably, if any of them had a waterfall, this would be probably the most important one to have a water feature, because you'll see and you'll feel it, and you'll actually hear it as you drive by it. So if, the idea, if you have waterfalls on all 3 elements, great. Or if you just wanted to take it
Yeah.
down and just focus it on one, I would focus it on this one.
Okay,
This is the weakest part of our current design.
Yeah, there's no center.
There's that little nothing.
right.
Yeah. You know, what's there right now is, I mean, it's nice. I mean, at least you have something there. And it's the language, the architectural language of it ties together very well. I mean, it was tastefully done for what was done, 25 years ago. It's pretty nicely done. It's just showing a little bit of age, that's all.
So the reason for this being slanted up to the right, that's architecturally, or what's your rationale? Just different?
It's just to give it a little bit of interest, a little bit of a flair. And again, then the arch in it is, you know, to me, it had two purposes. One purpose to express a little more of the Mediterranean language of having the arch in it. And it also helped emphasize the logo because the pelican sticks up above the vertical lines of the Pelican Preserve fonts. So then you have the pelican in the middle, so it helps express the language of the pelican symbol in the logo. And I thought it really helped to bring out the logo.
Okay.
Is it possible to put in behind the medium and the walkway number two, 2 poles with a bar going across the road at 9 feet 6 inches?
No, it's not possible.
Well, I would like to see it. I would like to see it virtually displayed before we actually put one up.
Oh, well, who says we're putting one up?
Well, it's been discussed during the
Discussed,
safety and security.
I think that was more super.
Wouldn't you, if you were going to do something like that, would it make sense to do that right at the gatehouse though?
Never mind, I'm overruled.
Yep.
You're used to that.
Okay. Well, I think this helps us get a much better sense of what could be. And obviously, you know, we're not in the pull the trigger phase of anything right now. We've got a lot of communication,
We don't have any estimate on price.
we don't have any estimate on pricing unless you had something on that, didn't you?
I mean, I could. I wanted to wait until I got some definitive feel from you guys as to what you would want to express as this is the design we want to go with, and then I could help you with some schematic numbers on it. Okay. We call it an order of magnitude cost estimate.
This is Ed. I like the layout, the symmetrical kind of the scale of things, and I personally really like the design. My only problem is, to me, it's losing too much of the Mediterranean. It doesn't tie into our existing architecture enough, but.
Trust me, I thought long and deep about that because you're right, but if the architectural style of even when you look at the main signs, when you go to the town center or the clubhouse, and then each of I think of the individual neighborhoods, there's 3, I think, primary different designs of each, or they're pretty much, it looks like each community is one of 3 styles. Is if you just took those styles and then just changed the materials to match this, I really don't think they would look like they were disjointed. I think the secondary impact you would have is if you pulled the trigger to do something like this to change your main entrance, you would just have to change the material that was expressed on your existing signs throughout the community. And that way they would tie right together.
What material are you talking about? The stoneware, the what?
I was thinking you'd go with coquina, or you could use some granite, and just using some granite to give it there's a lot of different ways we could express the way we show the signage. So I mean, if right now I just went with kind of a stacked coquina look, coquina rock. But if you guys wanted to see a different variation, we could go with maybe a granite face. And granite is very Mediterranean. I mean, most of the granite we've had for decades came from Italy.
Right.
So I mean, having granite in there does not break from a Mediterranean feel at all. And again, I really think you could capture what is proposed here by just changing the material to your existing signage without redoing it. Or maybe if you redid anything inside of the community, maybe it's just signage going into the community center and the clubhouse. Maybe those are the only 2 you do. But all the community signs, I think he just reskinned them. They're just using some material. I don't think they need to be redone.
Do you have any recommend? 6 inches driving through the entranceway?
Oh, okay, already. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, was there a question? I didn't hear it.
There was. This is Marty. Do you have any recommendations on how we can? Inches driving through and hitting our main gate structure. You must have other developments where they have something in place, a warning sign, I don't know, laser lights.
Again, I'm sorry, it kind of, I didn't hear specifically your question. I'd be happy to answer it. I just didn't hear it.
My question is do you have any recommendations on how to prevent trucks greater than 9 feet 6 inches from going through our gatehouse and hitting the structure?
Hire better drivers? No, I'm sorry. I'm being sarcastic. I'm sorry.
No, we
You know,
actually
that
have,
is-
there's
that's
an
a huge
agenda item
issue.
coming up, yeah,
Yeah,
on
okay.
safety and security for some options to help
Right.
deter that from happening, so.
Okay, I think
One of the
this has
most-
given us what we
I'd-
were looking for, correct?
Just to answer that
It's up-
question, what I found,
Yeah,
at least in some of the situations I've been involved with, is a lot of times you get into bollards. Bollards is a good way of controlling things, but they're not the most sightly solution. But they certainly work from keeping people from banging into your architectural elements.
Yeah, thank you. Okay,
All right,
so I don't think we have any further direction for Bill. I think it's just,
is there anything else that you need from them at this point, Bill?
Just if any direction where we want to go right now, or is this just something, because I remember the last time we spoke at SD that the idea was to take this to the community, get their feedback. Is there anything you feel this document needs to be a little more communicative to the layperson that would be looking at these? I'd be happy to add it.
yeah, we would need a estimate.
John has his hand up too.
John?
You're muted or something, I cannot hear you.
John, are you there?
Nope. Do you want to chat if you want, and I can read it? We have the chat enabled, so if you want to type it, I can read it. We can't hear you. I don't show that you're muted though, which is weird.
Maybe his mic isn't working.
Yeah. But you can type it and I can read
We
it.
we can
Yep.
circle back to it.
We'll come back to it. Okay, so if there isn't anything that you need from them right now and you're just
I think
looking for just
the
like a
rough
swag,
estimate.
for a
Of
cost.
Phase one,
Oh.
a rough estimate of his design.
and then they can take the preliminary design and the preliminary
Yeah, we can start
costs,
having more
protect-
conversations with them.
potential costs and start having those conversations with the community.
Right, because I figured that will take time. Yeah, that takes time to do that.
Sure. Okay.
All right, thank you again, Bill.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolute pleasure working with you guys. Thank you.
I see John is furiously typing.
Oh, John is
I
fiercely
I have
typing.
a question in the meantime. I mean, if we go to the community, are we going to be providing them any kind of options, or are we going to say, this is what we've come up with, what do you think? I mean, I had hoped that we would have 2 or 3 design elements that we would be presenting to the community. I do think this is, getting pretty far down the road without any kind of input from the community. Maybe we should think about it.
Yeah, I would think that before we do anything, we might want to either have a workshop of this group or something that we can really talk through how we want to take our next steps.
Okay.
I think it's going to
I
be an
agree.
involved conversation but I don't think we're ready to schedule anything at this point. Let's wait until we get some rough estimates from Bill.
Okay.
That's what John's comment was. He just said he wanted features. So I would say that because of you know how you parse things out for us where you say like it would be this much if we have the water come down, if like with or without the reflecting pool, because they're going to ask how much of a difference
Yeah.
is that going to make. So if there was anything that you gave options for as far as the design, I don't know how much extra lift that is for you to provide a breakout or pricing like that, like, having the water run down the wall versus just from one pool into the next.
I can get the rough number. It'll just take me a little time
Yeah.
because I want to work with, I actually want to work with my pool guy that I know that builds these things to give me a better feel for hard numbers. So I
Okay.
can give you some more of a realistic number than a guess, because I would say,
Okay.
hey, I can tell you, you're probably to do something like this full bore, you're scratching 7 figures to do it. And I think you all would be aware of that. When you add landscaping and all that into there, this is probably $1 million project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just to harken back to the comment, when we did the schematic design, we did present different design ideas and it was decided to go into this direction.
Right. Yeah.
And I think if you're going to take it to the community, from my experience with doing these things, this is about the 4th one we've done of redesigns from projects that are about 30, 40 years old, is when you go to the community, I would go with one design. I wouldn't go with multiple.
Okay.
It's really hard. It's really hard to come to a definitive answer if you do that.
Go in and show them what you're gonna do. And
Yeah,
tell them
this is what it is.
how great it is. If you ask about costs, and there's some
And we should have it
in there.
in Pelican.
I agree. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
We'll come over here.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Again,
move
ladies
along.
and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
you, Bill.
It's been an honor and pleasure working with you guys. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move along to the Washingtonia palm replacement. I've been in conversation with Mark, and Mark has indicated that they do need to come out. There's like 2 more that look like they could be dying as well. But he didn't want to waste one of his emergency orders. Now, I'm of the opinion that we're coming towards the end of the fiscal year, so I would waste an emergency order. So that might,
It would need to be September, because this is cut off.
Otherwise it rolls on.
Otherwise it has to wait till
If we didn't
October.
handicap them with that requirement, we wouldn't have that issue.
there you go, but that's where we're at. So we also don't have any suggestions for what to replace with it at this point, so I would say let's defer that talk until the landscape committee comes back together.
And Peggy, isn't the 4 corners all with those same type of design? So you can't just eliminate one side?
Right.
Well, I would think they let them come back with an
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious first move is to remove the dead plants. And so maybe I'll talk to Mark about having that go through.
As long as they can get it done and invoiced by the end of
September. Okay.
And the only reason we said replace with different kinds. Only the one that's drawing the lightning.
We don't know.
Why it's only on one
Right,
side and
right.
not the other 3?
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I've gone out there and looked at it, and right at the base of those that keep getting hit, there is some sort of telecommunication box. I don't know what it is, but if it's some sort of communications or whatever, there's increased grounding there, so there's probably multiple ground rods for that communication box, which is probably what's drawing the lightning to that location. Now, I don't know I haven't been able to, all those stuff I've done, I haven't been able to figure out what the heck that box is for, or if it's even being used or not, but a little bit more investigate. But that's the only difference, but at that specific location to the other corners and that, is that utility box right at the base of those trees, which typically they're grounded and there's more grounding there, which might affects the
Might be
palm
spreading
trees,
it.
so.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I don't know how you start putting in different trees when they're all, everything else around there is the same one, so.
Okay.
It'd be nice to find out what that box is, see if it's even being utilized or if it could be taken out.
For clarification for me, am I to expect some type of purchase order request from Mark to remove the dead trees? Or I understand that you're going to talk replacement once they're back, once the landscape committee is back, but are we going to
I'm
try
going to talk to Mark about putting through a PO for it.
Okay,
the
just as long as everything will be
Yes.
done and invoiced by the end of
Yeah,
September.
and I'll make sure he knows that.
Okay, if not,
Yeah, we got a
I
chainsaw.
got a chainsaw.
Yeah, okay. All right, so as most of you know, because a lot of you were there, the ponds committee did request to keep their budget at 650,000 to do pond 21 in FY '27, but they would also like to use $350,000 from the PPAC unassigned reserves so that the net impact of the pond work is $300,000 to the community.
And were you able to run that through your algorithm?
I was.
And?
Just a minute, please. I had well, it was up. It closed somehow. Oh, no, it's not in here. Sorry, it's this tab, right here. Ooh. All right, let me pull.
Well, they didn't like any of our, they went with this option.
It's just variation.
It was a combination of all. We had
Positive impact. I will make this bigger. It's because I was working in it on my desk.
10,000.
So this is without making any changes. It actually puts it at a negative 3.5% for single family, negative 5.3% for Pelican Preserve, and 4% increase for the golf course.
Which was much better than it was before.
That was positive. So you actually have a decrease in your assessments for next year. So
What if we increased our capital reserve fund?
I guess if you want me to target for 0 for single family, that will take me a little bit to figure that out, but I can absolutely do that and present that option to the board.
I mean, you might switch the reserves
Well, that I
and
could
the
just-
non-assessed.
The point is, if we Pelican capital reserves, that gets split, allocated across everybody
Correct.
equally.
Yes.
So it doesn't have as much of a impact to the golf course as if it was.
It gets applied as an admin expense, which takes it equally across everyone.
Since they're
Oh,
since they're
okay.
borrowing from the capital, we could.
Okay.
Family flat.
I will play with the numbers if that's what you want to meet, to get the single family to 0 or as close as I can. I can play with putting whatever it'll take to plug into the reserves.
Because we haven't, what hasn't hit the budget yet and stuff is all the park building stuff, and that will diminish some of a large portion of our unassigned reserves and
Correct.
stuff. So,
I'm fine with that. I understand the logic of it, and it gives Jim his pond in 27.
I'd like to ask Carol, because we recommend the budget, and that goes then to the Board of
She can't
Supervisors.
speak on anything that the board is going to do until. It could potentially
Because-
influence a
Because
vote.
if I remember, she was the one that did not want that to be negative. when
Correct.
they
She
were-
would like it to be more. That's why she was the one that recommended funding the reserves. So I will make sure that I put money back into the reserves
make
to
everyone
offset
happy.
and get that as close to 0 as I
This-
can.
This is a
So,
hard thing, right?
We'll be happy if
Yeah.
there isn't an increase, and that's.
Yes. And right now it's a decrease. It's not a large decrease, but it's a decrease.
I know.
And Bob's happy because the golf course went from 70 to 10.
Almost 80.
Yeah, and Jim's happy because he's doing the pond next year. And if we can make Carol happy, then we got, that's a big attack.
Now, the impossible task is Barney happy.
Yeah. Yeah, he don't like to spend money. All right.
I'm fine with the
13.
It's 3.
3.
I wouldn't be satisfied with 3.
So do I have a motion then to, Ed, do you want to formulate your proposal?
Taking it back up to 0, is that what?
Yeah.
Basically, PPAC capital reserves to an amount that would basically create the single family at essentially a 0 increase or maybe a minor decrease or whatever.
There's a second.
Yep.
Second that, okay.
Marty, second.
When do you want to start raising money for your monument, your exterior?
Yeah.
Start raising that money.
Discussion on that. Anything from Patricia or John?
Sounds good.
John said aye. He agreed.
Aye.
You can give me a thumbs up if you want. I'm looking at you, so.
All in favor?
He gave a thumbs
Aye.
up. All right, so that kind of actually knocks out both D and E.
Yeah.
So, because that would have been the same thing I would have asked you in the next agenda item as well, so. I know I have direction. I will get that. I will work on that tomorrow morning, and the version that goes in the the agenda book for the board for next week will have that 0 increase in there. All right, so it's D and E.
Good
and then-
compromises all around, people.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Those giant landscape plans really screws this up.
Yeah. I would like to actually defer this conversation because we have not seen anything in cartograph for our residents. I mean,
Okay.
we know they're saying that they'll have it in October, but I don't want to strip the budget until we know they can deliver because we've seen delays before.
Okay. It's ready. It's actually, they had a meeting this morning. I got caught up in something I wasn't able to join, but they're ready to flip the switch, I guess. So if you needed it, but I understand. Yeah, I understand. So what you're,
No matter what.
Cartograph?
Yeah.
We're paying for that and not utilizing
Right.
it right now.
yes.
Yeah.
We utilize it in the C-Click Fix ties into it for an asset management.
It's the district's asset management system, which also includes the assets in Pelican Preserve. It's our C-Click Fix. It's all of that. So
It's not as
It's a-
robust
it's a-
as the one we have.
I don't believe it is.
Well,
No.
this is.
Ed's our guy.
Got a meeting, I guess, a 30-minute meeting next Friday, I think, to see some of this. Our point is, we want to continue with Passarella for at least the next year to be able to do things. We have no clue what they have actually put into the Cartotech system. When they pulled it, we've been continue to do updates and put things in all summer long, all fall. And so just, to me, we need, even if we go that route, we need a year of transition to understand and to make sure that everything is there. And even the possibility of, should the community association take over part of it, because there's a lot of information in there around town center and other things that, and as the community association does certain things, it may be advantageous for them to take over the maintenance of the Passarella system for a public-facing view. We don't know what's been built in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. So
Well, that's something where there was a breakdown of communication too. So if you guys are adding stuff into it on the Passarella side, we need to know here so we can get ours updated as well, because we're trying to mirror what you have.
But Laura, the thing is, there's been no communication from the district to PPAC or any of the committees about what they are doing with, Tetra Tech is doing with the cartograph system.
Okay, I know Cartograph or not Cartograph, Tetra Tech and Passarella are working together. I am out of this project. I know that it's taking place. I'm not intimately involved in the project, but
I'm just saying,
there's
there's
been not
no
great communication.
from
Yeah, I
the
agree.
district about it.
I'm going to give 50.
That is just for Passarella, just for you guys.
Yeah.
So why isn't that worked into the methodology where Gateway pays a portion of that?
That's only for your Pelican site.
Well, how about if we said we didn't want to use part of it?
You-
We don't want to pay the 20.
Well,
No, seriously, I mean, we're not using them, we don't benefit
Well,
from
click
it.
fix stuff.
But it's not so much for the resident facing side, it's for irrigation, it's for the sewer, it's for the water meters, it's for the C-Click Fix, it's for all of that. It's not the pretty pictures to click on to see who owns it. There's more to it than that. And that's what you're paying to maintain.
Or, I could be wrong, but what type of security? Because like all the subgroups use that GIS system all the time. The residents have access to our GIS system. My understanding is this system, no one will have that, those people will not have that access.
No,
to.
there's a public facing side of it, which is completely different than what
Well,
I
we
can
We may
see.
not have access to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Jim could do his job without ultimate access like he has today. With the GIS system.
GIS, that if I click on the gateway
You
site.
have to come up, sorry.
Too late with Hans Group. If I go on the gateway site, there's a link to access the Pelican GIS.
Yes.
Is that the cartograph
No,
version of it?
that is
Okay.
your Pelican
Okay.
GIS. That's the
Because it's different,
Passarella.
it's not the same as what we do because it doesn't have all the options that we have.
Okay, then we must need an updated link because we used what you guys sent us.
There's a lot of stuff on ours that's
So-
not on that.
Yeah.
From the Passarella side. Two GIS views. There's a public facing, which is what you get to from, from the CDD website. That takes you to the public facing. It doesn't have as much information and it's not updated as regularly. The Passarella GIS that you have access to has all of the information in, it's kept up to date, but that's not what the district is using with the cartograph. And so we don't know we've never seen, it's never been shown what would be available in the or what access we would have to that cartograph
Right.
system.
That's important.
There's a lot of unknowns, and so that's where we're saying, hey, we got to continue with the Passarella
You want to pay
system
for
for a
both?
period of time
Okay.
until we know
No, we
until
don't want to.
we understand what's going
I
on.
think you made the wrong decision going with the
Yeah.
one you have. You should have picked up a new
Do,
service.
do I have access to the cartograph system? to
Not
see-
yet. There'll be,
Because until I don't know what I don't know.
That's the point. There's been no communications, there's been no demonstrations, we don't even know what they built into it. We
Yeah.
don't know what they pulled
It
out
could
of.
be better,
It could be.
you know,
But
but
its design it's more of a graphic interface to their asset management system to do asset management tracking and work order generation and that sort of thing. And Click Fix will be built on top of it, or it'll support the Click Fix. But will all the information that's that's in Passarella, that's not a gateway asset, will that be in the system? I mean, from the public standpoint, we've got there's a lot of information in the Passarella, the ownership layer, all the holes of the golf course are there just for informational, those have been in there for years and years and years, but will that be all in the system? So from a resident public facing, there's a lot of questions that.
absolutely.
I don't know if people know, but like property lines are in there. I have had residents that use in disputes, the property lines are in there.
The pond, the lake management easement, which was a big thing a while ago. But these are all things that are very valuable to people, even in your group, with people putting in pools, know how big of a pool you can get because you have a line that you can't cross behind your yard, behind your house.
We just haven't seen it. And don't know anything about it,
To
so.
stop paying
Oh,
for the
yeah,
one that
because
we
that's a
use.
daily thing for a lot of people in ponds.
So do we need a motion to do anything? Laura?
I just need direction. You want to
I'd
leave,
like to
right now,
con-
they're both in your budget, so if you, basically, do you want to continue to pay for Passarella? So,
Well, I just meant I didn't want to pull the funding. I didn't mean table.
Hi, Carol Pankoff from CDD. We would prefer a motion. There was a considerable amount of discussion at the last CDD meeting as to keeping the $50,000 in there for spread among the different committees, and also the $30,000 that were being charged by the other company, the cartograph. And there was strong opinion both ways that we shouldn't be paying the $30,000 if we're still maintaining the $50,000, and then use it as a year to transition from one to the other. But they didn't want, there were some commissioners who don't want to pay for both in this next budget year. And so I would respectfully ask for a motion and a specific recommendation to the CDD, please.
A motion, though, to exclude paying the 30,000?
it's 10. Your share is 10,000, so.
Bob's talked to me on some of this, and I disagree with him in some of this. That the Cardatech system is their system for doing asset
Right, I recognize
management,
that.
and the ponds work order system is tied into that. The see click fix. I believe we have to pay, Pelican has a portion of that to maintain those assets, so we need to fund that. The Passarella GIS doesn't do that level of the asset management and the tie-in. It's much more of a visual representation of some of those same assets and other assets for the community. And we've used it to help maintain some of those assets, but my motion would be that, I guess my concern, I think we need to support and fund the district's effort, but we also need, at least for the next year, to continue to fund the Passarella until we can understand more fully how much of that Cardatech system could be replaced, and potentially at the end of that, maybe there's value to the community association to take over maintenance of some.
So to Carol's question, you definitely want a motion that we want to continue to pay in our budget, $50,000 toward our Passarella.
So that is currently how your budget is set.
And fund,
So-
and his comment was, and fund the 10K for the thing that we need for some of the other stuff, click fix, all these other things. We need those things.
Right.
And that's to continue to bring the data from your Passerella into our system
Right.
as well. So of the
$60,000 that we're paying for GIS services, 10,000 is being put into the Pelican budget.
That's the real number.
10, yes.
It's not worth.
It's 20 for us, 10 for you, and 30 for utilities, so.
Yeah,
So is
but
that the motion then?
Yeah, I second that.
That's how it's in the budget, so.
Okay.
to continue the 50 and to
So-
continue and to be a part of the other one.
So
Someone clarify what the motion is for me.
the motion is by Ed that we will continue to fund for the next fiscal year, the Passarella contracts for the GIS system while we look to transition over to the cartograph. But we will also continue to pay the 10,000 for the asset management portion.
So it's a $60,000 motion.
Except it's two separate budget lines.
50's in our budget, 10's over in
Yeah.
somewhere else.
10,000 is.
It gets in the administrative charge.
Yeah,
And that's the way the budget is right
Yeah.
now.
that's where the budget sits today.
Right now, the budget is that way.
Okay.
There's the 50,000 for Passerella plus.
It's the 10,000 that goes for the
Okay,
Tetra
so the
Tech.
motion was by Ed, the second was by Doug. Any other discussion? Anything from Patricia or John?
Nope, we're good.
We got a thumbs up from John?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Marty says aye.
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 Aye, okay. Marty said aye.
And aye.
I'm so proud of him.
Down on a piece of paper.
Okay, what do we have next then?
I don't have any.
That's it.
I don't have any additional updates because I gave mine when we talked about.
Yeah.
Mine was. that's what I'm-
Yep, I know, that's why I'm trying to get us out before 4.
One,
All right, any other, so Marty, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
I'll just restate my displeasure with the lining and particularly as it relates to the circle at Prado. I want it on the record. I don't want it.
I heard, yes. I have nothing.
tomorrow there is a presentation to the board on, the community association is looking at upgrading the control system for the irrigation system. And there will be some, if we move forward with that, there will be some impacts to how the irrigation system is operated and maintained, and the landscaping has a portion of that, but that is really starting. And it kind of ties into this whole GIS thing, because as they go through and redesign, one of the things that we found is we don't have a lot of records of the existing system. So when they go through and do the design, part of it will be locating all the valves and things like that. And to have a system to record that information will be very helpful.
EVC doesn't show up on ground penetrating radar.
Thing I have is I will not be here next meeting, but I'll be able to join,
Okay,
going to a 3-day rock concert up in Destin.
you go, you go.
Yeah.
Patricia, do you have anything?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Jen said nothing.
And John has nothing? Okay,
I will be here for the next meeting.
You will
It's
be,
not gonna
okay.
be Tom, you're not gonna be here?
I will.
You'll be here?
I thought you would be going to Africa.
No, I'll be back the 5th.
okay.
Okay, so everyone should be here except for.
It'll be online, as far as I
Yeah, I
know.
can be online.
Okay, all right.
Can I get a motion to? We have a motion, I've seconded
Second.
it. So motion by Marty, second by Peggy, all in favor?
Aye.
Just,
Thank you, guys.
just so you know, at that room that we were up there, Tom, with all the painting and new furniture, where we
Right,
got the
right, right,
coffee.
right.